Yeah, okay. There we go. Start show.
Hey everyone, the show's coming right up in just a moment. I am really loud in my head and I just don't know what to do. You like? I'm very pretty. Good show coming up. Got some stuff, a lot of stuff to talk about. So why don't you stick around, watch my little opening credit thing, and we'll be right back to talk about what's going on. All right, good evening and welcome to the Paul Report. I am your happy host, Paul. I had a little issue with my cameras earlier and I may have messed with the green screen settings. Yes. So, I saw these in the dining room tonight and I thought, you know what? I don't care. You think I care? I don't care. I'm going to wear them. All right? All right? I was going to break into a Marky Mark. Hey, I don't care. I got these on my head. I'm going to talk to a wolf. Hey, wolf, how you doing tonight? All right, look. No, I don't want to take your food. I want to do a movie with you. Yeah. All right, wolf. Say hi to your mother for me. All right, so how's everyone doing tonight? How's everyone hanging? How's life? It's been a while since we've been together on this glorious show that we call the Paul Report. Well, I call it the Paul Report. You call it, I watch it because, And again, I do want to welcome you all back to Thursday nights. I know that there was some a lot of talk about moving to Thursday night. I'm staying on Tuesday nights, but here we are. And I know many of you are in a state of disbelief tonight. I know it's a shock, but also we knew this day was coming, right? So I want to give you a little bit of my take on the big event from today. So, I originally thought that I was going to start bowling on Thursdays in the fall. So when the show moved to Tuesdays like it normally does in the summer, I thought the move was permanent. It turned out my bowling future was not as set in stone as I thought. So my old league died, and the offspring of that league is now going to be our daddy. This league had been waiting a lot of years for the old fragile league to die so it could take control, but we were a feisty league and we wouldn't go down without a fight. But alas, the old league's time was up and it went quietly with our league family nearby. Even the team that moved to another bowling alley across the Spot Pond, they showed up. So now we're looking into the future and seeing where our new daddy is going to take us. The league is dead. Long live the league. I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the folks in chat. I don't have my chat window up. Just wow! Look at all the people in the chat. Oh my God, people. We have Jennifer, of course. Of course, everyone wants Joel. Thanks. Janice is here. Stan is here. Thank you. Mary is here. Thank you for the share, Mary. Lawrence here. Michelle is here. Hello, Michelle. And Andre is here. Yes. Hello, everybody. Everybody, hello. I say hello. Yeah. I guess I should oh, boy. I was talking with Joel before I didn't even script this part. I was talking with Joel before, and I looked at him. I said, so I'll have you come down a little later. We'll do the camera setup, and we'll make sure that everything looks good. He looks at me like this, as if to say, what are you talking about, dude? And I said, you said you were going to do my show tonight. And he sort of looked at me and went, gives me that grin and looks at me and he's like, "Can we do it tomorrow night?" I'm like, no, got to do it tonight. It's like, but I really want to finish my drawing. And I'm like, I'm such a softie. I should have held his feet to the flame and say, nope, you committed to doing it, do it. But I mean, we were going to talk about his art and all about art and his view on art and everything about art. I was going to pick his brain, kind of do like an educate me type thing. But he just wasn't feeling it tonight. So the guest tonight will be an empty chair with a microphone in a Palm Beach background. So for all of you who are on here hoping to see Joel wax philosophical about things, please stay with us because I do have a good show lined up tonight. And maybe every once in a while we can go to the chair and see how things are going. Sound like a plan? I like it. All right. So we'll get back to the shoe. I did want to... you know what? We'll do it. I wasn't going to do it, but I figured what the hell, may as well do it. Why don't we do a quick health update? And good evening. This is my co-host, Nobody. Okay, we'll go back to me. So earlier this week, Tuesday, I had an MRI scheduled. And it was around a time that I usually go, which is like between 6 and 7. So I get there, and this is at Mass General in Chelsea. And I go in, and everything's normal. There's no one in the waiting room. And I register, everything's good, and I sit down, and I'm about maybe 20 minutes early. I got there a little early, but a lot of times I get there early, and they take me early, so yay. This time, not so much. I waited, and I was supposed to be called in at 10 minutes of 6 for all the prep and everything. They do contrast, so they're going to put something in my arm. I have very weird veins, so sometimes if the person isn't highly skilled, they don't get the vein right, and then I'm left looking like a junkie because I have all stuff on my arm. Now, as you see, there's nothing on my arm because what happened is that 5:50 rolled around and the time on the clock said on time. On time. 10 minutes later, so now we're at 6 o'clock, it said 13 minutes. Okay? Then we get down to like 20 past 6, which was my actual appointment time. I was supposed to get the MRI. And it said 30 minutes. So in my worldview, if they're running 30 minutes behind, they were going to call me in for at least 15 to 20, okay? Because they always overestimate the time, the wait time. So that would be 25 minutes, so that would be probably closer to 7, okay? Close to 7 o'clock. Now, I would have to go in and get changed. That takes, we'll say, 5 minutes. Then they got to bring me in and have me sit down and wait for the person to come in and put the IV line in me so they could do contrast. That can take anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes, depending on who's doing it. It could be quick, but in my experience, it's been kind of crazy. Now, after that, I have to go into the waiting room where other people are sitting and wait for the procedure to be done. Then I have to go through the procedure, which takes about 20 minutes. So by the time I got out of there, it would be well after 8 o'clock, and I was just not feeling the waiting that long. So I went over and I rescheduled. So I hope my doctor's going to be okay with that because, quite frankly, I don't care. Some woman actually came out, and she, I think she goes to a lot of MRIs because I feel just from looking at her, I believe she suffers from or had suffered from a cancer and maybe had gone through chemo because she was bald with a wrap on her head. And she came out and she was flipping out. She's like, I can't believe the unprofessional blah, 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 blah. And I'm sitting there like this. What happened? And she's like, they couldn't get a line in. Their port was leaking. Something else was happening. This woman starts screaming for whatever reason. I'm like, yeah, that kind of solidified my wanting to get the F out of there that night. And maybe when I go back next week, be a different crowd. So we'll see what happens there. Other than that, my eyes are doing okay. They're not, knock on wood, they're not, horrible. My body hurts like a mofo because I'm getting old. I'm 55 this year. I'm 55. I'll be 56. That's right. Over the summer, I meant to mention this. I don't know if I did, but over the summer, I actually surpassed my father's age. So I was the last of the 4 children to surpass my father's age when he passed. So we've gotten past that point. So, so now apparently I'm scot-free. My kids think I'm going to live forever. My son actually said to me, "You're 56. I'm not 56. My birthday ain't till December. So all of you were drinking all year long in 1987. I was waiting for Christmas. I couldn't even drink until Christmas. Okay, Stan? Bring up that painful memory. Why don't you just give me a paper cut and pour lemon juice on it? Ugh." So, where was I? I don't remember. Anyway, this has been a health update. All right, we're back. Let me see where I'm at as far as my show prep. Because there's a bunch. There's so much going on in this world right now, and things are crazy. I mean, over the weekend, Labor Day weekend, there were more mass shootings, which obviously leads to more hopes and prayers. No, I didn't wait till I was 21. Of course not. I had a fake ID of someone looked relatively like me. I'm no dummy. A woman is kidnapped, mother of a few. What happened? My camera just went out. What happened there? Oh, my camera didn't just go out. Something just went out. Weird. All right, well, whatever. So a woman. Oh, Eddie Zenga, you're a crazy person. Woman went out jogging, and she's kidnapped. Later, she's found dead. And I actually heard someone say, "Why was she jogging at that hour?" Wrong question. How about, why does some lunatic have to attack another person for no good reason, then kill them for the aforementioned no good reason? Not that there's a good reason to kill somebody, but you know what I mean. And yeah, okay. Idiots. Jackson, Mississippi is without water. Water! They're without water. This is 2022. They're without water. Ugh. Anyway. All right, so look, I'm sorry to break all this crap news, but I got to bring a little sunshine back. So this little fella is Ebbers. And Ebbers is a bomb-sniffing dog who just retired after nearly a decade of service, for which he earned the distinction of being the agency's oldest working bomb-sniffing dog, as well as the cutest. The little cutie. Who's the little cutie? I got my hand up his ass. Sorry. Anyway. Of course, it's an objective fact, although true that every dog is the best dog. Ebbers won the TSA's 2022 Cutest Canine contest in August, shortly before he celebrated his retirement with a treat-laden send-off at his home base of Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport. You enjoy your retirement, Ebbers, you rascal, you. Oh, all right. All right, back to the misery. Other stuff, FBI Mar-a-Lago raid, stolen documents saga continues. I do have a serious question, though, and hopefully someone in the audience can answer me. Actually, they gave him Chuck Wagon Eddie, so that little wagon would come through the kitchen and go into the thing, so the dog would bump his head and then have brain damage, and he'd be dead in a week. It's a miserable show, man. Can someone tell me what a special master is? Now, before you go off the hook, I'm talking about the Mar-a-Lago Donald Trump thing. Because when I hear special master, I think of like when a guest star was on I Dream of Jeannie, and they would somehow get control of Jeannie, which would leave Tony and Roger to hatch some lame-brained plan where the male version of Mr. Howell, the male version of Mrs. Howell gets befuddled, and somehow Jeannie gets back into the control of Tony. Can someone explain to me what a special master is? Anybody? Because I don't understand, and I really like it when people explain things to me. Okay, so Eddie is telling me that it's someone who is there to review evidence. Now, do they have the ability to say evidence is good and evidence is bad? Say evidence is inadmissible or evidence should be, accepted? What's their role as they review the evidence? Do they work in favor of Donald Trump? Are they impartial? Do they work in favor of the government? What? I don't know what's happening, man. So, it's a very special episode with a very special master. So, I am going to wait just maybe a minute or two. Maybe not even that long. Maybe like 30 seconds. Because a minute or two on this show, it's like an eternity. An eternity. So, and again, unless there is a miracle, my son will not be coming on tonight. So, the folks that are looking to see him, I was looking to see him. I love spending time with my boy. But again, he is off doing his thing that he loves in his room where he sleeps and plays with his toys. No? Okay, so they will provide commentary. All right. And who makes the final decision, though? Who makes the final decision on... I'll join that riot, Andre. Who has the final decision of the evidence? Stan, these are what we call reality snaps. That means we're trying to snap you back to reality. Okay. Oh, yeah. So, all right. So they're there to review evidence and say what could and what can, commentary as to what can be used. Now, again, do they have the end-all, be-all to say, yes, this should be used and this shouldn't be? Or does, like, the Justice Department or whoever have the final say? I guess it would be up to some kind of judge. Maybe it would be Judge Jean Pirro who will be residing over that. I wish I had a good impression of her. But, yeah, I'll work on it. All I know is she yells into the mic, "Now listen here!" I'll get better, I promise. All right. Let's see. And no, Andre, these aren't bunny ears. They're wolf ears. We got them at the Great Wolf Lodge when we were on vacation. Yeah. Let's see. Can I get... No. So what happened is that I have a little teleprompter. And the little teleprompter helps me with remembering stuff because I don't remember stuff very well. So what happens is sometimes is that I get befuddled and I lose like my place and I'll forget what I was talking about, much like before when I was winging it. And what happened is that my background on the teleprompter would be transparent. So the words would come up, or the items that I wanted to talk about comes up, but the background, I can still see myself and monitor where I'm looking, what I'm doing. But then all of a sudden, like out of nowhere, it just changed to black. And I don't know why. So I'm just trying to see where this, let's see. Is this a Windows setting? Transparent window. Oh, there we go. For some reason, it just... All right, there we go. We're back. All right. I don't know what the hell happened there. Jeez, that was crazy. Crazy. All right. All right. Oh, yes, and the Department of Justice is already appealing the judge. Yes, because the judge, wasn't it a Trump-appointed judge? Excuse me. Now, I don't want to go into a lot of politics just because I know that a buddy of mine, Dennis, who I've been, I've had on the show before, and he's a good friend, but he always says, Paul, when you start talking politics, I shut it off. And when you have numbers like mine, you kind of need every viewer. So I'm not going to keep up with the politics tonight. What I would love to do is go on to my next subject, which is the rumor mill is churning. I shouldn't do that very often. That Tom Brady's marriage is in the shitter. It's full of crap. And if it's not Scottish, it's crap. So yeah, I read a report that Tom's marriage, that Giselle has left the house in Tampa. She went down to Costa Rica. And when she came back to Florida, she went to somewhere else. And she did not go back to Tom. Now, I also heard that this is a semi-happening occurrence. But to be honest with you, I haven't heard this before. So I don't know if this is like a major, like, Tom J. And to be quite honest with you, I don't care about his personal life. I don't even care about his professional life. All I care about is that I don't even know what I care about. Isn't that awful that I don't know what I care about? That's the thing, is that she is upset that he unretired. And let's talk about that for a second. Among you, all of you that are here, and I see that there's several of you here, but I don't think you're all in the chat. If you're watching from someplace else like YouTube, you can leave a message in the chat. Someone just dropped off. See you later. I like to have your feelings on that, if you want to. The notion that someone could retire, and what reasons do you think it is that he came back and unretired? Is it just his wanting desire for another ring, his need to be in the spotlight, his need to win, to prove that a 45-year-old man can win a Super Bowl? What is it? Maybe he wanted to piss off his wife. You did it. I don't know. I mean, of course, we're not in his house. We don't know what his marriage is like. I can't imagine a conversation in that house being very normal. Like, Tom, when are you going to go pick up the kids? I'll send the driver when I goddamn feel like it. Apparently, in my worldview, my multiverse, Tom Brady's an alcoholic, so... I was thinking about the multiverse today. How's that for a segue? I was thinking about the multiverse today, and I was thinking, what would other me be doing in the multiverse? Now, I'd like to think that I'd be doing something that I loved. I would like to think that I would be successful in my own way. I don't need to be rich. I don't need to be fancy. I don't need to be, but I always thought about what my multiverse self would be like. And then I said to myself, don't do that to yourself. Don't. Stop it. Stop. Put it down. Put it down. So I did. And I don't think about it anymore. I think about this life and this life only. What is this? What do the comments say? Stupidity? Yep, I agree with you, Mary. He didn't like the price his last football went for. That's probably... Yeah, I mean, how many more accolades can this guy get? I don't know. MVP, Super Bowl MVP, won what? 6, 7 Super Bowls now? He'll never erase the 2 losses to the Giants and the Eagles. And the Giants again. Did he lose to the Giants twice? I don't remember. But I think it was twice he lost to the Giants and then once to the Eagles. Yeah, that was ridiculous. But, yeah. I don't know. What time is it? 9:30. Wow. All right. So I got a few more things on tap. This is a story that, and you might have heard of it. It happened maybe a little over a week ago. I was going to use it on last week's show, but I didn't end up having a show because it was my beloved's birthday, and I made rum cake. So sorry, I chose rum cake and my wife over almost all of you because my wife is one of you. So, but yeah, the rum cake came out good, didn't it, honey? Yeah. I had a rum cake years ago, and it was an Italian rum cake. And it just tasted awful. I mean, to me, it tasted awful. My wife loves rum cake, but this rum cake was this heavy, drenched, like all I tasted was the rum. And I was like, you know what? I never want rum cake again. This is awful. And then my buddy Chris at work told me about this Caribbean rum cake, and it was done in a bundt pan. And which actually leads me to another side story that I'll tell you after the rum cake story. So I got the recipe online from kingarthur.com, and I made it, and it came out really good, very tasty. But me, like a dummy, I have never made a bundt cake before. My mother used to make a lot of bundt cakes, and quite frankly, they were a little dry. Maybe no fault of her own, but they were a little dry sometimes. Oh, you know what they weren't a lot of times? They weren't moist. All the women listening just went, ugh. All the guys just went, anyway, it just wasn't moist enough. It was unmoist. It was the anti-moist. Anyway, so I never really took a shine to making a bundt cake, so much so that I never bought a bundt pan. But this recipe called for a bundt cake, so I went out, bought a bundt pan, and I made this cake. And when I took it out of the oven, mentally I wasn't thinking bundt cake. I was just thinking cake in a pan. And I look at it, and it's puffed up really high towards the end of the pan, and it's all jagged. Like, it's all got, like, crap and gullies and gorges and all this stuff. So I'm like, wow, this looks like shit. So what I was supposed to do was I was supposed to let it cool for a little bit and then pour the syrup, pull coals in it, pour syrup on it. And, you know, that's what I was supposed to do. But what I did is I actually let it cool down pretty much all the way. Because we had dinner, and then I made the syrup, and then I went to go pour it. So the cake had deflated a little bit, became more solid. So my thought was that I was supposed to probably put the syrup on top while it was expanded, and then when it compresses, it takes all that rum and puts it into the goodness. Well, anyway, I poked all the holes in the thing, and I'm thinking, God, this is gonna look shit when we take this out of the pan and all these holes are on top. I know, I'm an idiot. So I'm poking all the holes, and I'm pouring like a quarter cup in at a time, letting it absorb, pouring another quarter cup, pouring, waiting, pouring, waiting. Finally, I'm all done with all the syrup. And then I wrap it up and I put it in the fridge. Or no, I didn't put it in the fridge. I left it out for the night because that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to leave it out overnight and then have it the next day. So I left it out overnight. And then it hit me when I was going to take it out of the pan. I'm like, Paul, you're such an idiot. I flipped it over, and it wouldn't come out. But it was then I realized that the top of the cake is actually at the bottom right now. So I had to put the cake in the oven at about 200 degrees for about 5 minutes, and it loosened up the cake. So I turned it over. It came out, not a nick on it. Perfectly looking cake. Served it up, and dear God and all that's holy, that cake was tasty. You know what else it was? It was moist. It was very moist. It was so moist. I've never met its equal in moistness on a cake. Oh my goodness. Anyway, if anyone wants the recipe, I'm more than happy to send you the link. Honestly, the cake was, everything was by scratch. Everything was from scratch. I don't have a mix. The only thing that is store bought in a mix is you get a package of pudding, vanilla pudding, and you can use sugar-free pudding, use regular pudding, but that's the only thing you actually need from a box. Everything else is from scratch. Another thing too that I noticed about baking, and I noticed it before, but it really drove the point home this time. I took out my plastic measuring cup, and I scooped out a cup of flour, and then I poured it into a bowl. I got this Obama inflection going. I took the flour and I put it into a bowl. Now, I took another cup and I put it into the same bowl. And what I did is I teared out the bowl with an identical bowl, same everything, and then I weighed the bowl with the flour in it, and it weighed way more in grams than the recipe called for. So I took out as much as I needed to equal the weight in grams that the recipe called for, and I took out nearly a cup. I'm thinking, how is this possible? So what I did is I went by weight on everything. So I did it again, and I scooped it out and I cut off the top. Now I got this flat thing. I put it in. I was still over by like 50 grams. So the key here is when I bake now, I'm baking by weight, not by volume. Because I should have known, because you know why? Anyone know why I should bake by weight, not volume? And why I should have learned that years ago? Anybody? Come on. You know. Oh, forgot. Time difference. Zone delay. So why would someone measure by weight, not by volume? Where would you have learned that as a kid? Anyone? 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 All right. No one? All right. If you ever looked at a cereal box, there's a line in it that says, this product is sold by weight, not by volume. Contents may have shifted in packaging or whatever. So the key is, kids, when you're reading your cereal boxes in the morning, or better yet, kids, put down your goddamn phones in the morning and your iPads and start reading the goddamn cereal boxes. All right. Hey, Eddie, don't tell Mary to go to bed. And Mary, you keep telling Eddie to shut up. Just kidding. Eddie, I really thought that was you at Stop and Shop the other day, and you walked right by me. Well, doppelganger, you walked right by me, and I was like, that mother effer didn't even say hi to me? And then I thought, I didn't say hi to him either, so F me, you know. Yeah. Anyway, this story came out a couple weeks ago. This is where I was headed before. The head of the Russian oil company, Luke Oil, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, fell to his death at a Russian hospital. Now, I'm not saying this is part of a subplot of some bad 80s anti-Russian movie, but I think I've seen this before, where a head of an organization is in the hospital and then some goons come in and toss him out a window. But this kind of really happened. Yeah, I mean, he was out on the ledge. He fell. He was pushed 7 times and he fell. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what to think about this. There were some other high-profile Russian businessmen who died in the last couple weeks. If you Google it, you'll find that there's something fishy going on in the USSR. Anyway, yeah. Got one more story lined up. I was sitting at dinner tonight, and we would, we'll talk about the Queen for a moment because, 70 years in one job is pretty good. And they're already saying that King Charles is not going to rule for very long, so maybe he's gonna find his way on the other side of the window at the hospital. I don't know. But the Queen, what can one say? 70 years, she got through she was in World War II. She became Queen through tumultuous times. She saw the unprovincing of several territories that were part of the British Empire. And at least she got to see Boris Johnson leave office. So that was good that she got to see that and got to meet the new prime minister, who, from what I understand, there were 2 bad choices and she was one of them. So we'll see what happens in the UK. Europe's in a state of hurt at the moment. I mean, we're not faring too well ourselves, but I heard that there's an energy crisis going on, and Europe is really, suffering a lot. Germany, in particular, is suffering a lot with not enough power to get through, day-to-day life. So, I don't know. I'm still all for alternate forms of energy, figuring it out. I don't know if, I see a lot of people posting their memes on Facebook going, if it takes so much blah, blah, blah to power a car, then how are we going to power electric cars when we need oil or whatever to power the electricity? Yeah, it's a problem, and it needs to be figured out. We didn't know how to get to the moon many, many years ago, but we figured it out. You guys all have this. You, the Queen, and Eddie have the same birthday? Wow. That's cray-cray. Aw. Did you identify with the Queen when you were growing up? Like, I had the same birthday as the Queen. Well, did you, Eddie? Did you walk around? Not you, Mary. I was talking to Eddie. Because I know you would, because you're a princess. But, hey, thanks, Willie. Haha, Willie's here. Willie's my new teammate on Tuesday nights. So, welcome, Willie. Eddie, did you have a, walk into school and go, today's my birthday. It's the Queen's birthday, too. Holla. I'm sorry, buddy. You're an easy target tonight. I had to pick somebody, and it had to be you. Next week, it'll be Stan or Willie. Never Mary. I'll never make Mary my target. She's a good egg. She golfs very well. And I wish I went back to golfing. I should go back to golfing. Anyway, tangents aside, there was a study conducted by a company called CEU Fast. They are an accredited nursing education provider, and they state that Massachusetts has one of the most depressed cities in the country. Overall, New England fared pretty well. There are only 4 cities in New England that are in the top 50. So the research team at CEU Fast looked at all sorts of data from the CDC to come up with a list of the 50 most depressed cities currently in the United States. And needless to say, the results came up with the results they came up with are very interesting. So first off, only one city from Massachusetts landed in the top 50. And that city, does anyone want to take a guess? It's not Boston, I'll tell you that. Anybody want to take a guess? What city in Massachusetts came up at number 16 as the most depressed city in the country? And it's not some podunk town either. Nope, not Salem. I'll give you a hint. It does start with an S. Anyone? The Simpsons live there. Does anyone know where the Simpsons live? Anyone? How about Brockton? That's right, Andre. Springfield, Massachusetts came in at number 16. The three other New England areas landing on the list. The area of Portland, South Portland in Maine showed up at number 32. And Lebanon, New Hampshire placed at number 41. And the fourth one is Burlington, South Burlington, Vermont, which landed at number 47. Excuse me. Ugh. Now, based on the data from the CDC, all of the residents of Springfield, Massachusetts, almost 20%, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. Based on the CDC data, of all the residents in Springfield, Massachusetts, almost 25% of them suffer from depression. That's crazy. So you could be in a store with 4 people and one of them is going to be depressed. Maybe 1.5. But the number one city, actually, I'm going to go through a top 10. So let me get to the top 10 here and we'll go through them. All right. So starting with number 10, it's actually a tie between Duluth, Minnesota and Chattanooga, Tennessee. They both come in at 28.80% of the population as being depressed. Okay? Number 8 is Salem, Oregon at 25.9% of their population. After that, Madison, Wisconsin at 26.9%. Spokane Valley in Washington State, 27.2%. Huntington, Ashland, West Virginia / Kentucky, 27.3%. Charlestown, West Virginia, again in West Virginia, 29% on the nose. Knoxville, Tennessee in the top 3, number 3, 30.2%. Number 2, Kingsport, Bristol, Tennessee. That's Tennessee and Virginia, 30.6%. And the number 1 depressed city in these United States is Billings, Montana at 31%. Cray. Now, Stan, you were saying what city? Hamlet, North. Let me see if Hamlet is on the list. Let's see. Hamlet is not on the list. Let's see if I can find towns in North Carolina. Okay. Yeah, let's see. You know what, Stan? I don't see any North Carolina in here. Seattle came in at 27. Seattle, Bellevue, Everett. Corpus Christi, Texas came in at 26. Salt Lake City, number 20. Now, I don't know how they do this, but Portland, Vancouver, Hillsborough. Oh, that's South Vancouver, Washington, not Vancouver. Yeah, that would make no sense. Hey, Willie, have a good sleep. Take care of yourself. We'll see you next Tuesday, bright and early at 6:45 p.m. Yeah, so, that's a lot, Stan. That's a lot of suicides. It's probably not reported depression. That happens. Let's see, what other cities can we have here that... Oklahoma City at 21.9%. They're at, what number are they at? They're at 41. It is pretty bad. I mean, 124 suicides in 1 year in your city. That's... wow. So I guess the point here is, kids, that if you're feeling... if you're feeling the symptoms of depression, you're constantly feeling sad or anxious, suicidal thoughts, your energy level is lower than normal, you get angry, irritated easily. Jesus, it just described me in all four. You have no interest in favorite activities or hobbies that usually make you or add to your happiness. You might be clinically depressed. So if you're having any of those, look out, get some help. Yeah. It's, we want to keep all you folks around for a while. So if you're feeling anything, feel something, say something. Yeah. So Billings, Montana, just to go back to them for a second, they have a population of about 180,000, and 31% of them have been diagnosed with depression by a professional. Oh, that's not your city, Stan. Okay, that's just another city in North Carolina. Okay. When was this data? When was this data? Let's see. This was from... That's pretty recent. Well, recent as it was in February of this year. So, yes. Look at the puppy. Look at the cute little puppy. Oh, look at puppy. Oh, look at puppy. All right, so I think what I'm going to do, I have like 8 minutes left. I think what I'm doing is, if it's okay with y'all, I want to show some pictures. Oops. All right, let's see if this works. Let's see. Was there any other story that I had left in here? I thought I had one more left. No, did that. Yeah, I did all that. Okay. So let me see if I can bring up this on my screen. Let me just set this up. And I'm looking for honest feedback, obviously. I'm not looking for, oh, that's really great, Paul, and then you're throwing up behind my back. I'm looking for honest feedback. And trust me, I wasn't going out to shoot for awards. I was just grabbed my camera on a break and I went out and shot some photos. So I'm going to bring this up on screen. Let's see, Googly Chrome. Okay, and let's, oops, oh, it's right here. Okay, so let's see, will this work? Number 3. Oh, 3. Ah, there we go. All right, so let's look at these. It's going to take a little while to load, sorry. It's so slow. Who's my internet provider? They're so slow. So slow. There we go. All right. So this is a flower that's in our vegetable garden that is dying slowly. Again, just shot it. I wasn't really thinking settings where I should have been, but, there it is. And we've got a couple different ones of that flower. Does anyone know, class? Does anyone know what kind of flower this is? Anyone? Class? Eddie? I know it's a very sad day for you because your bestie didn't make it, the queen, but do you think you could tell me what kind of flower this is, Eddie? Is it a Satan flower? It's a pretty flower, that's right. I don't even know. Maybe my wife can tell me, is it? I don't know what it is, but these are my yellow flower pictures. And then I went to did I go to the front of the house? Let's see. God, this is embarrassing. Nope, it's another yellow flower. Let's get ahead of that. Oh, this is embarrassing. Wow. I got to talk to my internet provider. This is redonkulous. Yeah, I'm on the right Wi-Fi. Someone stuck this in a pipe. I thought it was kind of cute. I think it was my wife that stuck that in the pipe and smoked it. No. And I thought it was kind of cute, so I took a picture of it. And there's another one I took. And marigold. Maybe it is a marigold. I think it's a marigold. If Jen was here, I think she would tell us. Come on, pictures. Wow. This is pretty poor. How about if I close some of these windows? How about that? Maybe I'll just close some of these windows. Okay. So this is a bunch of flowers in the front of my neighbor's yard, actually. And this is one of the flowers, a profile in flowers. Okay, there's another profile in flowers. I should have weeded out. Get it? Weeded out the duplicates. All right, sorry. All right, so if you look at this one, it's kind of cute. It looks like it has a little face, like there are two eyes and a mouth and a big nose. Here's another one. This one is one of my favorites, just because of the composition and the, a lot going on in this picture. So, this one would have been a great picture if I had opened up the aperture a little bit more and got more of the flower in focus. But again, I wasn't paying attention to a lot of that. I was just clicking and shooting. I had, 10 minutes on break left, and I was just taking a bunch of pictures and stuff. But this would have been a pretty nice picture had I got all of the flowers in focus. And then there's another one. This one I kind of had a lot of it in focus, but again, the house was in the background, so it sort of, a lot going on, but the house was in the background. I was trying to, I could probably blur out more of the house and make it a different color and stuff, but still didn't get all the focus in on that flower. And there's another one, again, the house in the background. And what else we got? Oh, another side view. And a sad flower. What a sad flower. All right. By the way, I'm going to come back to me for a second. Oh, I got to come back here. Ooh, excuse me. All right. Let's come back to me for a second. I did want to mention... Ooh, that's a pretty one. Hold on. Let me bring that one on the screen. Let me add that. Maybe I can do it this way. Oh, there we go. There's one. I am going to mention, I did make a decision over the last couple weeks that I am going to cut back on the GFY awards. It's going to be sort of like in the lines of the health report. It's going to happen at best maybe once a month. I'm thinking that I need to make it a little bit more special, if you will. Snowflake-ish, maybe. I need to make it a little bit more than it is. And I think I need to do a lot more research on a nominee and a little bit research on explaining why. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to supplement it with something else that I think you'll enjoy, but I'm not going to tell you about it today just because all the ideas haven't been fleshed out yet. I do want to thank my co-host for a couple weeks, Dan Capello. I meant to do it earlier, but my brain was in a different space. Dan was my co-host for a couple weeks, and loved having him here. I decided that I'm gonna take a break from co-hosted shows, just because I was feeling, I don't know, conflicted about the whole thing about a co-host, and I wasn't, I don't know. I think I just needed to be a little bit more, have something in place and get it working and not just jump into it. Unrehearsed is probably a good word to put it, because it takes time for people to sort of gel and work together. And I love Dan, and I will definitely have him back. So we'll see what the time brings. I like Pictures with Paul segment, but that's not the one that I was referring to. Let's see, what's the next one? Let's bring that up a little bit. So there's another one. And let me show that one full screen. Let's see. There we go. That's another pretty one. Is that what they're called, Mary? Lucy Rose of Sharon? I like the name of that. The Lucy Rose of Sharon. That's like the ingredient inside Mountain Dew, glycerol ester of wood rosin. It's true. Look at a bottle of Mountain Dew or a bottle of Squirt, if you still have Squirt around. There's an ingredient called glycerol ester of wood rosin. I can't make this stuff up. Oh, that's my... Let's see any more? Yeah, that's another one. And I think we go back to the beginning at this point. So, all right, everyone. Well, we got through this. Again, apologies that Joel couldn't make it on tonight, but he will make an appearance on another show. And we will be back next week. Yeah, we'll be back next week. So if you see a notice from my show, a notice from the Paul Report, by all means, like my good pal Mary did this week, share it out. Maybe we'll get some more listeners. You know, I'm on Instagram as the Paul Report. I'm on Twitter as the Paul Report. I am on YouTube as the Paul Report. So if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. Blah, 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 blah. I'm very thrilled. But I do want to thank everybody for being here tonight. Please have a great week. Maybe conserve a little water where you're at, just because it seems to be a little droughtish still. When we get more rains, hopefully we can, not conserve as much. My grass looks like hell, and I don't care, because I wasn't going to waste water watering my grass. You hear that, Bobby? You hear that? Okay. Everyone, thank you so much for your time tonight. Be good, be safe, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.